Welcome everyone to the presentation on the reliability of sources of scientific information. The research refers to findings from the citizen consultations in Poland. This work was developed in a team that consists of 3 authors, Izabela Warwas, Aneta Krzewińska, and myself, Małgorzata Zimińska. We all represent the University of Łódź. We developed 3 agenda points for this presentation. First of all, I will provide a broader context for the analysis by locating where Poland is in developing the science communication culture. Then I will explain what are the currently used sources of scientific information and what are the preferred ones according to citizens. Finally, I will discuss what is the Polish path to increase trust and use of science. The presented findings were developed through the qualitative data analysis collected through public consultation that were held in Poland in 2019. I will start with locating science in Polish society. Our project involved 5 countries, which you can see on the slide, but let's focus now on Poland. The current use of science in policy making is not formalized, and the real impact is rather low. The public involvement in science and technology decision making has been formalized, mainly through the public procurement procedures, but the actual engagement and involvement of society is also rather low. The science communication culture is still in the developing stage. Although these conclusions come from the studies by Mailguard from 2012, we find them still up to date and they are consistent with our observations made in the Concise project. On top of that, I should add that Poles in general appear to be very distrustful. In the latest national opinion poll, 3/4 of the Poles declared being distrustful of others. How does this information relate to our findings? Building the science communication culture requires trust in scientific sources and their use. So, do the Poles use scientific sources? The answer is yes, but the extent of the use is related to the topic. We were able to order the 4 scientific topics on a continuum from the highest to the lowest declared use of scientific sources. The analysis revealed that citizens declare the highest use of scientific sources for gaining information about GMO, while the lowest use of the scientific sources is declared in the area of alternative medicine. What are the insights here? People don't know much about GMO in general, but those who do base it on science-related sources. Second highest declared use of scientific sources concerns the topic of climate change. We found that this was the topic with the greatest use of international scientific sources. The second to last is the topic of vaccines. For forming opinions, citizens were relying not as much on scientific sources as on the opinion leaders associated either with pro or anti-vaccination movements. Alternative medicine relies mainly on the word of mouth, opinions passed by friends, family and acquaintances. With relations to alternative medicine, citizens declared the lowest current use of scientific sources, but at the same time, they expressed the greatest interest in gaining information on this topic from scientific sources. So what does the reality versus expectations look like? We contrasted the currently used sources with the preferred ones as declared by the citizens. It turned out that scientists are the most preferred information source listed by the post in all the topics. They are expected to be the major information producers on all scientific topics. Decision makers are expected to deal with problems of misinformation, especially with health-related issues, like dealing with the anti-vaccination movement or assuring that there is legislation which would provide some regulation to the field of alternative medicine. There is also a call for citizens for stronger presence of science-related programs on national TV. What contributes to higher reliability of sources? Adding a source of information is crucial. Credibility of the very author is also very important. Authors, in order to be credible, should be independent, politically, financially, ideologically. What matters also is the prestige of the institution the author is affiliated with. And finally, findings are more credible if they are verified by a few independent institutions. What was also emphasized by the citizens was that the information which is not understandable is not credible to them. Therefore, citizens expect most of all simple, understandable language, operating on facts, presenting the content objectively, and with adjustments to various audience groups. And these adjustments should be by age, by level of education, by place of living, or by profession. Citizens expect also variety of formats to accommodate to various tastes and preferences. And of course, both traditional and digital media should be used in a complementary manner. So what is the Polish path to increase trust in science? Well, this research provided us with some hints how to move from the winding road which we follow now to the highway leading to building the science communication culture. We believe that the results of the Concise project form a great foundation to building a national science communication strategy. We think that there are a few pillars that need to be taken into account to building such a strategy. First of all, the scientific findings need to be communicated from multiple perspectives, showing the micro level of an individual, the local level of a community, the meso level of a country, and finally the macro level, the worldview perspective. Secondly, the science communication strategy needs adjustments with respect to the topic, because now we know for sure that there are no universal communication strategies applicable in all the areas. And finally, the scientists and the academic institution still remain an underused asset. If they were involved wisely, they could inspire dramatic change and make a real impact. I would like to thank you for your attention. Please feel free to ask any questions that relate to this presentation, and please enjoy the rest of the seminar. Thank you very much.